Okay, now let's continue with adjective clauses. An interesting thing about adjective clauses is that they have another name. They are also known as relative clauses. The two names are referring to the same thing, so don't worry. If you see on the internet a different name, it's the same thing. Both of them are synonyms. Okay, now let's begin. Let's imagine the situation. First of all, what's an adjective? It's a characteristic or a description. Okay, for example, in this case, this house is blue. What is the adjective? Well, the color, blue, because this is describing a characteristic or a description of the house. So a complete definition is that adjectives are characteristics or descriptions of nouns. Okay, it's a characteristic or a description of a noun. Okay, it's describing that. Now, let's see. So, adjective clauses now. For example, look, I have a sentence here. Alexei danced a song with a woman. He danced a song with a woman. That's okay, that's fun, it's simple. But let's imagine that I want to have more information about the people and the things in this sentence. For example, I have more information. I know Alexei. I know about him. So I know this person. The song is very old. And the woman is very talented. So you see, we are adding extra information. This commentary here is a description of Alexei. So that's why it's an adjective. I can include this as a commentary that adds extra information about the noun. The same thing here. This is an extra commentary about a song. And this is an extra commentary about a woman. Okay, this is the extra commentary about the woman. So let's see. We can combine all of these ideas together in one sentence. I can say, Alexei, whom I know, danced a song which is very old with a woman who is very talented. So you see, I am introducing the commentaries in the sentence. I am adding extra information about Alexei, about a song, and about a woman in the sentence. You see, these sections here are commentaries about the people. Alexei, and the commentary, whom I know, dance a song, commentary about the song, which is very old, with a woman, the commentary about a woman, who is very talented. So you see, these are commentaries that give extra information about the nouns. So essentially they are a commentary about a noun. That's the idea of a relative clause. Relative clauses are commentaries about a noun. Okay? And remember, this is important to know because that's exactly the reason of the name. Relative clause or adjective clause. It's a commentary about a noun. It's a description of the noun. That's why it's known as an adjective clause. And relative clause, well, simple. You have relative pronouns. Whom, which, and who. That's it. Another example. So, well, there you go. Another example. Karen has a jacket. Karen has a jacket. I have two commentaries. One commentary about Karen and one commentary about the jacket. What is a commentary about Karen? She is smart. And what is the commentary about the jacket? The jacket is black. So I'm going to introduce these two commentaries in my sentence. Now, an important thing. When you describe something, you have to put the commentary next to that. So I am going to put the commentary about Karen next to Karen. And the commentary about the jacket next to the jacket. Okay, so it's very simple. That's a very important thing to remember. The commentary about Karen goes next to Karen. And the commentary about the jacket goes next to the jacket. That's the position where you're going to put the commentaries. Okay, and let's do it. I'm going to say, well, first of all, Karen is a person. So I'm going to say, Karen, who is smart, has a jacket. A jacket is an object, so I'm not going to say who because it's an object. I'm going to say that is black. An important thing, we don't repeat the complete idea. Karen has a jacket. Karen is smart. The part that is repeated is the part that you change for the pronoun. So instead of saying Karen, she is smart, you say Karen, who is smart, has a jacket that is black. So remember, the part that is the commentary about is replaced with the pronoun who or that. That's the idea. Remember, the commentary is about the people, so that's why you say who. Alternatively, you could also say that, but it's a little bit informal if you say that for people. It's perfectly fine if you say Karen, that is smart, has a jacket that is black. No problem, but when you say that for people, it's a little bit informal. It's preferable to say who. And the jacket is a thing, so usually we say that for things. You can say which, both of them are the same, but which is exclusively for things, in the same way that who is exclusive for people. Who for people, which is for things, but usually which is not very important in the sentence. You're going to see later a little difference between the two. But in general, that's the thing. You can say who or that for people, or you can say which or that for things. Okay, so that's it. Now, about the commas. There is a distinction that we have to make. In some situations, you don't put commas, but in some situations, you put commas. So there are some rules that you have to follow, and it's going to depend on the importance of the commentary. Sometimes, as we said before, relative clauses are commentaries. So in this case, a relative clause that is important is going to be called an essential clause. Okay, it's going to be an essential clause. And a relative clause that is not very important for the sentence is going to be called a non-essential clause. Now, the name is kind of unnecessary because you don't really need to know essential or not essential. The important thing that you have to differentiate here is the importance of the sentence. Essential clauses, in other words, means that it's necessary for the sentence. Okay? So this part is an important comment that you have to mention in the sentence. If you don't put that comment, maybe your sentence is going to be in the air. For example, if I say, this is the car, it's empty. It doesn't have a lot of comment. Maybe you want to expand more and you have to mention this commentary. For example, if you say, this is the car that I bought, it has something a little bit more intense in contrast with the just saying, this is the car. Next, the boy whom you see in the photo is me. If I eliminated the commentary here, the boy is me. But what boy? It's very general. I have no idea what you're talking about. So for that reason is that you probably have to mention in this situation the commentary. Now, non-essential clauses means that it's omittable in the sentence. This commentary is completely unnecessary and completely incidental. It's not very important for the sentence. So for example, if I say the car which I bought is blue, it's the same as if you say the car is blue. It's the same. There is no difference there. Charlie, who is my friend, is in the photo. But if you say Charlie is in the photo, it's also a correct sentence. So the difference between using commas and not using commas is that if you don't put commas, the commentary is necessary in the sentence. And if you do put commas, the commentary is optional in the sentence. So in other words, no commas, it means that it's necessary in the sentence. Commas, it means that you can omit the commentary in the sentence. It's an optional extra commentary about the car, about Charlie. It's not necessary for the sentence to be a complete, coherent thing. That's the only difference. So remember, don't put commas. If the commentary is important, don't put commas. If the commentary is optional, put commas. That's the difference, and that's the rule about the commas. Now, extra. This part is an additional extension from the topic. This is not in our book, but I'm going to show you something else. Relative clauses, extra. So an important thing that you probably have noticed is this thing. Whom. Why did I put whom? And what is whom, teacher? Why not who? Well, there is a very simple explanation for that. Pay attention to this. I have two sentences here. Mary visited her brother. He is short. Mary's brother is short. She visited him. Very simple sentences. Now, I'm going to introduce a commentary. The second part is the commentary and that I want to introduce in the previous sentence. Okay, I am going to introduce the commentary in the sentence. The same thing here. This is a commentary that I want to put next to the sentence. So let's start checking that. Remember, you have to put the commentary in a position that is next to the thing you are commenting about. So in the first case, Mary visited her brother. The commentary is going to be here at the end, because that's where you want to put the commentary. And in this case, Mary's brother is short. She visited him. I want to comment about the brother. So I'm going to put my commentary in that position. So pay attention to this. If I want to say Mary visited her brother, he is short, I'm talking about a person, so I am going to say who. And Mary's brother is short, so in the two cases I'm going to use who because that's a person. Okay, but Mary visited her brother, who is short. And in this case, Mary's brother, whom she visited, is short. There is a little difference here. The nature of the commentary is a little bit different. In the first case, notice that the person is he is short. The commentary is he is short. But in the second sentence is she visited him. So the difference in this case is that in the first case, you are talking about the subject. And in the second case, you're talking about the object. It's possible to use commentaries about both parts, no problem. But the only difference in the case of people is that if the person that you're making the comment about is in the subject, you say who. And if the person that you're making the comment about is in the object, you use whom. Whom is a formal word. It's not very common in everyday speech. So you're not very likely to hear this whom in everyday conversations. But it is a formal way to say who for the object exclusively. So to finish, remember, who is perfectly fine for all the situations. You can say who for people, but remember, when you say who for the object, it is a little bit informal. Again, for exams, probably you can say whom, or for formal situations, for writing letters to the major, but in a normal conversation, it's perfectly fine to say who. Just remember it's a little bit informal, and it's exclusively for the object. Whom is exclusively for the object, okay? When the thing that you're commenting about, or the person you're commenting about, is the object of your commentary. Okay, that's the only case where you use whom. And remember, you should not mention the thing that you're repeating. That's why in this case in the commentary I'm saying Mary's brother, whom she visited. Don't say whom she visited him, because that's why you have the whom. It's not necessary to repeat him because you're already mentioning here with whom and with Mary's brother. Okay, so that's the idea of the use of whom. Now, one final additional thing. You can use a lot of different expressions for relative clauses or adjective clauses. Again, remember, all of these, the reason it's called relative clauses is because all of these things are relative pronouns. So you see, these things here are relative pronouns. That's why the name relative clauses. And adjective clauses because it's a commentary. So you have there the origin of the name. Now, an important thing, who is for people as the subject. Which is for things, but they are not important in the sentence. It's a commentary that is optional. Usually between which and that, it's preferable to say that for important things, and which is for things that are not very important. Whom is for people as the object. Remember, this is very formal. That is for important things exclusively, and you can also use it for people, but for people it's a little bit informal. Now, also, you can also use these things. You can also say where for places, because if it's a place, it's not a person, it's not a thing, it's a place. So that's why where. For owners, people that possess something, and for times, you can also use when. Examples. Here you have some examples. Mark, who is my friend, is tall. You say, I'm saying who because it's Mark, it's a person. The toys which I make are handcrafted. Why am I saying which? Because it's a thing. Remember, you can also mention things with that. But the difference is that when you say which, you probably are going to use commas because it's not essential for the sentence. Paige, whom I met last year, is now my wife. So you see, whom, because it's the object of the sentence. And the special cases for places, for owners, and for times. The city where I come from is beautiful. The lady whose cat is lost was here today. She was probably looking for the cat. The time when I was on vacation was great. So remember, relative clauses can be also used for places, owners, and for times, moments. Okay, so that's essentially it. So please remember to study, and this final part was additional, so don't worry too much. And wash your hands. Okay, see you soon. Bye-bye.